Ah, hey, everybody. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find it. What was that? Okay. I always try to give some little bit of information. Let's see what's here. That's it. Okay. So let me come back here. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Let me just show you one thing while we wait for some people to join. Ham's at therapy, but I think he gets off shortly. And then we'll have him on. Look at this. This is the Magnificent Seven market cap as a percentage of the S&P 500. They were 10% of the S&P in 2014. Look at today, 2024, middle of the year. So it's worse now. I think we can assume it's 35% of the S&P. Because right now I know the NASDAQ, the S&P is 46 trillion. So this would be more than that. Now, I think I wrote it down. Of course, I think the Mag 7 right now is 16 trillion. Look at that though. 35% of the S&P is just 7 stocks. Guys, we're getting close to, that's Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. This won't last. I think it could go higher though first, but eventually it won't last. Of course, they're trying to sell you an ETF. Isn't that amazing? Imagine if you're just in a normal mutual fund getting 8%, and then other people are getting 35% this year. Well, that's not the rate of return. Sorry, that's the percentage. I think the rate of return, though, is pretty high. I didn't look that up. All right, let me come back to you. Okay. Okay. How is Rail right up there with GTII, MMAT, MULN, Finger, and all the other ones? Doesn't take long. Doesn't take long. I gave everyone their leeway last week, but not anymore. Jesus, Pete the Greek, Pedro, Eddie Eagle, Augustine, NSA, Pedro, Rod, We Back, Moneyline, Thumbs Up. Lucky is, I took Lucky in yesterday. He's now on gabapentin or something like that. He's on something that's a little bit like ibuprofen. And he took a shot of Librela, which is a little bit experimental, I guess. But the vet had given it to 10 other dogs and it always worked. And it turns out what's really hurting Lucky is his hips. He's in a lot of pain. So he's better. But he's still an old dog, still coughing, still crying. But he's he had a much more content night last night. And the shot is a once a month shot. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Maybe he can make it till next Christmas. I don't know. But she said a lot of his pacing and all that is just the amount of pain he would be in to lie down. So I'm very thankful for the doctor. Hi, that fro girl. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you had a nice Christmas. I just had breakfast with my kid sister, kid brother, and my sister, and that was as nice a Christmas present as I've had. That was very enjoyable. Hey, Darren. Hey, Giuseppe. Quantum computing making moves. Yeah, I remember that one. Do you think the morning spike of ZJYL to 240 was covering? Well, it was a lot of stock. I'm not sure it's in the chart. I'm not sure it's in the chart. My eyesight's not all that great. Oh, the chart's horrible. Oh no, it is. It's okay. I think it's okay. It's the rail chart that doesn't really say anything one way or the other. Look at the volume. Well, let me see if you're there. Yeah, you're there. Okay. Look at the volume. Yeah, it doesn't show it going to two. It's not in the chart. So that morning activity isn't in the chart. But look at the volume. Yeah, I'd say that's covering. Do you remember when I drew? I don't know if you do, but I think it was a week ago. I drew kind of a, I was trying to make it work. I kind of drew something like that. I'm doing it quickly here, but I told you I thought it'd break out. Now the question really matters: what happens after it gets to 2 or 3? And I don't know the answer. I think it goes a lot higher. I think this selling is over with. I think it's still a hair trigger stock. It's chasing a short squeeze. That's all it is. It's a crap stock. Does it squeeze? Maybe. Hey, Ricky. Rogan. Hey, Gary, cutie pie dog. Grand Rising, how are you? Thank you for praying for Lucky. He's content right now. Let's see if I can turn my chair. That feels much better. Much better. So that's quantum computing, QNC. Well, this one of the, I don't know much about quantum computing, but Rail is in a space where apparently fund managers and venture capitalists and big investors pay up to 20x of the projected turnover of sales which haven't occurred yet. So one of the reasons I like Rail. Good things, Boat Bum. I'll do it again. I just did one, but if you want one, we can go see where the stop parts, the targets are. I unbanned everyone, so if in fact there's a person with that name, he should be free to go. But on the other hand, I don't really believe that's a name. Oh, 6:35. So I guess the charts probably, I'd have to find a charting service. Then it dropped back, yeah. I I don't know why you would cover in the morning and pay up. I would see it more as somebody trying to ignite a rally and it didn't work. That's kind of what I would see. Hey, I am. Yeah, lucky. I took parents' dog to the vet. Oh, you're the best. Thank you. I bet he appreciated it too. He was so good at the vet. He's hung, it's a lot to take in, but he trusts the women and he had to get a shot and they weighed him and he was just a good boy. And they gave me a wagon to take him home because it was a long walk to get there. And he didn't understand the wagon so well, but he's doing much better. She didn't tell me she thought that he needed to be put to sleep, so I appreciated that. I hope I'm not keeping him alive just because I don't want to lose him. But you know what was funny? He actually smiled for the first time in, I don't know, 2 months. You know how dogs smile, or at least I think it's a smile. He actually smiled in the vet. I think the relief maybe of something. But hey, Bill, Michael. All right, so let's. The chart on Rail is real. It's a short period of time, and there was a trade at like 3 pennies for some reason. So all the trading is bunched at the top. It's useless. But I just want to remind everyone that I know I was early. I get it. But I think we're not going to have much chances to buy Rail under 40 cents. Of course, it's been under 40 cents ever since I said that, but I still stick by it. It's just a powerful revaluation story. In the most simplistic terms, I think Rail was an R&D stock. It was a software development. They put it together. It's a closed system. It's AI, which is what everyone wants. It serves the need. It takes months and people and cost of going into legacy software of an organization down to minutes and cheaper. And all you need to see, I think, is a contract or 2 or 3 or 4, and these analysts on Wall Street will start extrapolating the potential for something that can, I assume, go viral. There is no competition, apparently, and they're the first mover. This is all from the presentation I showed you. So Rail, I think Rail's very exciting. Nixie, I'm not giving up on. Nixie is obviously not a year-end play, it doesn't look like. I think it doubled, which was nice. But maybe January. Maybe these are both first quarter plays, Q1, which is fine. I think there's a lot of upside. I'll get Ham on to talk about Finger. And trying to think what else you would care about. Finger's actually down 3 cents. Nix is down. It looks like, I think it says 68 cents. The former CEO came out with a video, kind of Roger Rabbit-like, talking about the shorts, and I guess now that he has 250,000 shares, he's all of a sudden worried about the shorts. I don't know. I never met the guy. And ZJYL is $1.11. Yeah, so anyway. It's been forever. That Fro girl. I thought you meant Christmas. How's that Finger end of the year dividend all of you were so sure about? Well, Dustin, I stated last week, and I'll cut to the chase, I think it's going to be March before you see that dividend. The company put out the dividend about 8 months ago, something like that. And the SEC needs to approve it. So the SEC had questions, according to my interview with with Martin. Finger responded to all those questions quickly and sufficiently. But then the auditor for Finger resigned because they didn't want to keep up with the licensing requirements for whatever category, PSBO or something. So Finger Motion had to go out and get a brand new auditor. And in order to have audited financials for the SEC to look at, that auditor had to redo past financials. Basically, Finger Motion had to do 2 years worth of auditing. And that started sort of July, August. And as of my last interview with Martin Shen, the audit was completed, there was pressure for the audit to be completed because other items on Finger's list were very high priority. He indicated that the audit could be completed by the middle of December. As you know, Dustin, Finger raised some money through Roth Capital. And from what Ham disclosed and what he understands from that Roth Capital raise, the audit is not completed. The audit is, in fact, not finished. So the dividend will not be approved by the SEC until there's audited financials. Now, you can be a little bit, I guess, annoyed or sarcastic or challenging as if you knew, and maybe Dustin, you did know that the first auditor was going to resign. I mean, maybe you knew that, but that's the kind of thing you can't predict. So anyway, I do think the audit will get finished. Of course, then Finger's going to have audited third quarter numbers, which should come out January 15th. But in the middle of all this, Dustin, you've got Chinese New Year, which is January 29th. And then on top of that, you've got Gary Gensler resigning, Donald Trump coming in on January 20th, appointing probably another ineffectual SEC placeholder for the banks, but that needs to be approved. A lot of the people at the SEC are probably revolving door out. There's no leadership. So I personally think, Dustin, it's highly unlikely that the dividend or let me put it differently. It may be unlikely that the dividend gets approved before January 20th. And even after January 20th, to the extent they need corporate input, you've got Chinese New Year, you've got, if you need SEC input, you've probably got desks which are empty. So my guess is it's going to take all of February to get people appointed at the SEC. So I can see a March distribution of the dividend, and that's a ways off. It could take longer. So just so you can know where I stand, I do not anticipate a quick dividend approval or distribution. I would have to say that's on everyone's back burner. It's not front burner. My opinion, sure. But that's where, just so you know where I stand. I had no idea that it was an auto drive software. Yeah, I don't know all the terminology, but Rail software improves itself, educates itself. It gets better as it operates, and I imagine that's a tricky document lawyers have to write up for licensing agreements, because that improvement should go to Rail, right? The symbol for Rail in Canada, this is it, railtowntechnologies.com. Here's their partners: Mila, AMI, Microsoft, three ways, Microsoft, NVIDIA, UBC, AMD, AI Partnerships Corporation. I don't know what that's showing you. Real-time insight, root cause analysis, Conductor AI is their product, automated release notes, top reseller. Here's the global market for development tools, 17 billion. The AI as a service market is 132 billion. Here's the advantages of Railtown AI compared to GitLab, Jenkins, Jira, Splunk, New Relic, and SonarQube. And just to cut to the chase, they're better in everything than in the rest. Here's the founders: Marwan Haddad, Corey Brandolini, Dr. Elliot Holtman, Kevin O'Neill. They've sold their companies before. Here's news, latest news. And I guess it doesn't tell you the... Okay. Here's the symbol in... Let me make sure you see this. Yeah, you're seeing it. Here's the symbol in Canada, RAIL. And the symbol here for the over-the-counter is RLAIF. RLAIF. There's 131 million shares outstanding. Founders and insiders own 55 million shares. Fully diluted, it's 145 million shares. Here's the trading. I see this as a very positive chart. Near term. Let me see if you're still there. Yeah, you are. Okay. But I don't know how to use that chart. We went through the corporate presentation. I don't know if we went through this corporate update letter, but they have E.F. Hutton, who I don't know if I think E.F. Hutton might work with the shorts. On the other hand, I've heard they have a good reputation, so I'm on the fence whether or not E.F. Hutton. The shorts have all the advantages, but I think I'll give E.F. Hutton a break. McKim and Company. They also work with Canaccord, and I've never heard anything bad about Canaccord. They have an analyst. I'll see if I can get a copy of that research report. And you see news, Microsoft. Their partnerships are all listed here. And you can go sign up and get updates. But anyway, there's the symbols. RAIL on Canadian and RLAIF USA. I had bought that ticket. Oh, WIMI, yeah. Railtown symbol in the United States. Yeah, there you go. RLAIF. Thank you, Ricky. YW means you're welcome. I don't know. I think it does. I want to stay confident about the squeeze or so-called price discovery. But what it sounds like so far is there's a reason why companies get shorted. I hope that's not the case. There is a reason why they get shorted, because it becomes a self-fulfilling doom loop that benefits the criminals. Volks Toy King, I mean, that's just, yeah. Why don't you go play in another field? It's always easy to criticize and look backwards. Oh, they deserve that. But look at a company like Apple. The Apple shares are way overvalued. And you're going to say, no, they're not. No, how do you know? The Mag 7 in June of this year, the market cap of the Mag 7, including Apple, including NVIDIA, was $16 trillion. $16 trillion. That's in June. It's higher now. I think it's closer to 20 trillion or 18 trillion. The entire value at today's prices of gold in the world, that as far as we know has ever been mined, it is possible the Anunnaki took gold off the planet, but the entire reserve base of gold, jewelry of gold, golden vaults of millennia, the entire value of that, 18 trillion. 18 trillion. So 7 stocks are worth probably identical to the value of gold, physical gold. China, the market cap of the Chinese market, 12 trillion. Now you're going to tell me that Apple is up because it's worth it. The value is there. Yeah, you might be right. I would argue it's priced to perfection. I would argue that Tesla if they ever crack the code on a new phone and ecosystem, Apple's toast. I use Apple. I like Apple. But the advantage Apple has, Volkstoy King, is it can use its shares as currency. I will say it's overvalued. You can tell me you think, oh, it's a good price for Apple, so I want to be in it. I think Apple's going to go up by 100-fold over the next 10 years. I would take you to get your head examined, but you might be right. I don't think Apple goes up 2x from here. And of course, inflation gets tricky. But what Apple can do when its shares are overpriced, my understanding, somebody told me Apple buys 2 companies a day with shares. Well, it used to be in the stock market, Volkstoy King, that a drug company, a computer company, an oil and gas company could get ahead of itself on excitement, management, a project, too much buying. But you know what they could do with those inflated shares? They could go buy assets. Now, there were people that didn't think the shares were inflated because they thought there was a good stock to be in. But management could take advantage of higher prices. What happens now? Every single stock, they just sell, 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 sell. And so then you come along and you say, oh, well, MULN should have been shorted because look at it. On a per share basis, those electric vehicles could never be worth very much. Well, when it first came out of the gate, I don't know the numbers, maybe there were 20 million shares out. By the time the short sellers got involved, there's 2 billion shares out. There's nothing that's going to help it. Or an MMAT, which has the solution for exploding batteries, or one solution, state of the art. By the time the criminals got done selling stock that doesn't exist, these companies need to raise money. So instead of raising money at rational valuations, they raise it at pennies. And you go, well, then it deserved to be shorted. No. This is a doom loop that gets set up that becomes self-fulfilling. I hate to tell you what it's called. It's called a positive feedback loop. It's nothing positive about it. So it's easy for you to sit back and critically say, oh, they deserve it. No, they don't. They don't deserve it. Every company deserves to be able to tell their story, get investors, and not be shorted to oblivion because of a handful of guys that are greedy and need to win. And then I need to listen to this. And with big short positions concentrated, they get sorted and figured out. What would be the case on Finger? I don't know what that question means. I can't figure your question out. Ham believes there's 200 to 250 million shares unsettled in Finger Motion. I think it's a big number. We both would admit, and I will admit, nobody knows the number because it's hidden. Ann Wagner doesn't want, and they're on your know-it-all side. So easy to be a courageous, go along with the criminals person.
Was designed to reduce market volatility. I want to just say that the consolidated. I want to just say that the consolidated audit trail, or CAT, I want to just say that the Consolidated Audit Trail, or CAT, originated from SEC Rule 613 and was designed to reduce market volatility following the 2010 flash crash.
Do you think she has ever studied this? This is written by a Goldman Sachs lobbyist.
As proposed, the CAT would be the largest securities database ever created.
The largest securities database ever created. Oh my God. You don't think they already have a database on all the securities traded? On all the dollars in the world? How does the United States steal Russian money and give it to Ukraine? They know everything about the database already exists. She wants to protect the shorts, the criminals.
Think about that for a moment. And the most massive government database of any kind outside of the National Security Agency.
Is that right? The most massive. What about the IRS? What about DEI? What about banking information? What about Venmo? What about when you go to the airport? What about your doctor records? Everything is a massive database. But she wants to protect, so you can come on here and tell me that the shorts don't exist, because she doesn't want it out in the open.
NSA. According to former Attorney General Barr, who wrote that
marvelous former Attorney General Barr is an asshole.
Op-ed, he quotes, accepting this sweeping surveillance would eviscerate fundamental privacy protection.
Eviscerate fundamental privacy protections. Like your protection to travel anonymously, like your protection to spend money anonymously.
And I share the Attorney General Barr's concerns. And
really
as members
does.
of this committee have repeatedly...
Her daughters can't go to Harvard if she votes against this.
...made clear there is a constitutionally protected interest in the confidentiality of financial transactions.
Oh, this is constitutional. This is a constitutional concern. Just like here on YouTube, they censor everything. No problem with ignoring the Constitution there. Just like it's one vote, the vote is supposed to be on one day. Now let's stretch it out for months. Nothing wrong constitutionally there. Let's go to war without getting a vote from Congress. This is eviscerating constitutional rights. No, it's just eviscerating the right of a few men to steal and create crimes on a massive scale.
And personal financial information. The CAT would violate these rights by granting SEC or SRO employees access to every investor's financial transactions without any evidence of wrongdoing.
Without any evidence of wrongdoing. So let's not look for wrongdoing, and then we'll say there's no evidence of it. This woman's a Republican. I start to think all women are Democrats.
The solution to this problem is simple. H.R. 4551 prevents the SEC from requiring an exchange, a National Securities Association.
I can't listen to her anymore. I just can't listen to her anymore. You can go find it yourself. Such arrogance. Oh, well, I don't think it exists. And they deserve to be shorted. Oh, and I get so tired of it. I get so tired of answering the same thing over and over again. Over and over again, we have to answer the same thing. Know-it-alls come on here to put doubt on the story. Okay, Moez Kassam and the Anson funds, the big secret. three dirty little words have helped destroy the Canadian capital markets: direct market access, or the pipes. Anyone can trade through these pipes, and banks and brokers are not held responsible for their clients' activities in these pipes. Banks have no idea what is going through them. They can guess who the players are that are trading, but they can't actually see what is going on. Prior to the advent of the pipes, the business used to be that the client already had a relationship established with a bank or a broker. It was a people business. With direct market access, anyone from anywhere can jump in and manipulate the markets. But Ann Wagner doesn't want to see this, and no one can see what they're doing. It goes through major banks like CIBC, TD Bank, RBC, National, Canaccord. Let's say somebody using CIBC direct market access and wants to bounce a trade from Germany through Ireland into the TD Bank pipe. It's easy to do. Anson Funds discovered a major loophole in the European markets that would enable it to sell naked short. I know those companies deserve to be short. You're right. You're right. They deserve to be short. And there's no negative impact on those companies by this. You're right. So go about your life in your self-certainty. Would enable it to sell naked short American and Canadian equities through Europe. In Europe, there have been very strong short selling rules. For European companies, naked shorts are prohibited. Any short position over 0.1% has to be disclosed publicly. But if your primary exchange is foreign to Europe, those rules don't apply. This loophole allows you to naked short. You do not have to disclose your short positions. Oh, but they deserve to be shorted anyway. And you are exempt from the rules in relation to fails to deliver. Oh, but they deserve to be, if it's a good company, they should be able to withstand 2 or 3 billion shares worth of shorting with no impact. They deserve it. The girl deserved to be raped. Your analysis is so infantile. You should be embarrassed. What this means is there are no regulations in Europe about trading foreign securities. You do not need to have the stock to sell because no one regulates. European regulators are not holding this information, and they're not investigating North American trades. Oh, but it doesn't happen, and it should. They're just doing it. They're just cleansing North American markets. Those stocks deserve, that girl deserved to be raped. That man deserved to be robbed. Your critical thinking is on par with, I don't know, an incredulous child. It may be difficult for Volstoy King to believe this level of regulatory inefficiency because he has no critical thinking. However, it is easy enough to prove. The Europeans did have a buy-in rule for failing trades, but they failed to enforce it. Even if it had been enforced, US and Canadian companies still would be exempted. The trades in Europe are not even on the consolidated tape, which is good for Ann Wagner, because that would eviscerate constitutional rights, as if she's a constitutional attorney. She's just a dimwit. How Hansen funds and others trade in Europe. It's easy. Anyone can pay 750 euros to be a specialist in Frankfurt, or to pay a specialist. The specialist will apply for you, get your application passed, and get you into the cash markets. $1,000. The next step is to get a designated sponsor. Very easy. They'll help you with liquidity. So let's say you're the Hansen funds and you want to sell 500,000 shares of Finger that you don't own. This trade is implemented in Germany. It then bounces to the dark pools in Ireland before entering the TD pipe. It can be any bank or broker in Germany. It just depends on the tolling agreement. If you want to trade American securities, you can trade it with any bank that has access to the pipes. So you, Volstoy King, in your self-certainty and awareness, you could sell Finger Motion stock because there is no naked short enforcement and no one is even checking. This counterfeit electronic stock is very difficult to track, and it has a lot of the players working together to settle outside the clearance system. No one will ever see it, and no one will ever track it. Well, I understand that if it really happens, these companies deserve to be shorted. I understand if a young woman wears a miniskirt, she deserves to be raped. I understand if an elderly man walks out of his apartment with a cane, he deserves to be hit over his head. It must be nice to take the side of the bullies in life. It must give you a good feeling. All right, so they're talking about a company called Afria, not Finger Motion. So they got a German right, they requested. Authorities refused because they work with Ann Wagner because they don't have the data. Failed to deliver data for GameStop over 3 years. But Ann Wagner doesn't care because it would be a violation of constitutional rights. Take a look at below, which will help Volstoy King understand the scale of the problem. Please remember, this is just one of the clearinghouses in Europe, of which there are many. Settlement fails report for one clearinghouse in 1 year, 2022. Failed to deliver 13,249,747 fails. Oh, but those companies deserve to be shorted. What a puny mind. 27,500,000,000 is the value in euros of the settlement fails. Let me say that again, Volstoy King. $28 trillion worth of settlement, euros worth of settlement fails in just one clearinghouse in just 1 year. When you add in the failure to deliver cash, it's 30 trillion euros in one clearinghouse in 1 year. Oh, but those stocks, they deserve to be shorted. Brain the size of half a hollowed out pea. Over 27.5 trillion in failing trades in Europe in 2022. Over 27.5 trillion in failing trades in Europe in 2022. And Ann Wagner thinks it would be a violation of constitutional rights to examine this. Why is this not front page news? Because Volstoy King is here to cast his know-it-all. Join the bullies point of view. Investors and pension funds are being robbed on a daily basis, and nothing is stopping the endless pillaging of North American markets by North American funds. And Volstoy King is on the side of the pillaging. Regulators have a hard time following and proving this because Volstoy King and Ann Wagner don't care. Well, it's just supposed to happen. I mean, it's good for the companies. I mean, it's a cleansing process. If a CEO can't handle a few short sales, yeah, she shouldn't be in the business. And you don't want to track this. And we all know companies that are shorted are the ones that should be shorted. Not only has it destroyed tens of billions of dollars in investor money, but Volstoy King, it has destroyed countless companies over the last decade. Well, no, you're right, Volstoy. Those companies deserved to be destroyed. What a nightmare. All right, so that's that riff. And as it relates to finger motion, I think we have to accept that the regulators are not going to help close the positions in the undelivered shares sold at finger motion. We're going to have to accept that most people are like Volstoy King. They're on the side of the criminals, and they're not too bright. They just take for granted that, that's normal. I think we have to admit that probably the short squeeze and finger motion is pretty much under control for now. We have to admit that a lot of the shares are offshore and no one cares. Now, it's been my contention, the way to get finger motion to even have a modest squeeze is to hurt the criminals in their pocketbook. So idiots like this can't come on with drivel, absolute drivel. Well, I've heard that the stocks who were shorted deserve to be shorted. Just absolute idiotic nonsense. I don't know how people go around in the world with so little in their brain. It must be sweet to be an idiot. Anyway, I think my feeling on finger is you've got to get fundamental price movement so that the pressure of carrying, because there is a cost to carry undelivered trades, works against the criminals And then all these banks actually demand they don't want to lose any more money. And I don't think we're there with Finger. So my interpretation of Finger is I think the dividend comes in March. I think earnings report comes in mid-January. I think there's a Chinese holiday for most of January. I think the short position is large, but they seem to have it under control. I think there could be revenue announcements that could shake the shorts' courage. But to me, the biggest thing coming is the fourth quarter. And unfortunately, I think we have to wait. I think the fourth quarter, the company could turn profitable and could start giving guidance for the future. And then maybe you have a $3 stock, a $4 stock, a $5 stock, and it stays there. It's unable to be shorted back down. Then you start seeing a willingness to start covering. That's my opinion. One step forward, 5 step backs with Finger. Finger is a growing company, Matt. Finger is a company with self-described is a lifestyle app. It's got top-up business, which is low margin. It's on the scale of grocery stores, but it's highly repeatable, highly predictable, and it's safe. Except 1 month, 1 quarter, it went away. So the second business came in to rescue it. It was the SMS business for businesses. And that is similar. It's text messaging, low margin, very little risk, easily predictable. Then they have gateway toll booths to get onto shopping. You know, if a consumer uses a phone to shop, they can make a little money in those transactions. They get user data, and it could be 1 billion phones, 1.7 billion phones in China, whatever percentage of that they have. But it turns out 3 of the telecoms are sharing telecom data with them. That's China Unicom, China Telecom, China Telewoman. I can't remember the other one. But there's 3 of them. So then Finger is also big data. What does big data lead to? It leads to potential business with 2 large insurance reinsurers, Munich Re and Pacific Life Re. These companies are in their second tier, if not their third tier of laboratory and scientific work, trying to monetize the data they have. They're paying for it. Finger Motion is highly involved with them. They're close to monetization. It takes a while. Are they stepping backwards? I don't think so. But I think in this mania where everyone wants instant returns, it doesn't happen. In the research space and in some, one of the managers, I'm trying to remember his name, of a hedge fund, he said, if you don't want to wait 5 years, go invest somewhere else. If you want 90 days, go to the casino and bet at the casino if you want 90-day results. So anyway, they got big data leading to insurance. They got big data leading to one of their other businesses, which is selling cloud computing that they have access to. I don't know the margin on that business, but it's a non-linear business. It's non-predictable, but when it comes in, it gooses revenue. Then big data is leading to government contracts in the, I don't know, terrorism, gathering of crowds, mobs, first responder business. And this has led to a contract which is, all we know about is the first two vehicles. But apparently it's exclusive. Apparently it's countrywide. And apparently the finger shifts from a low capital intensive business into a capital intensive business with high margins. And they're the only one there. They also have the Netflix of Southeast Asia, which I think that's a commoditized business, and maybe that's great, maybe it isn't. But that's finger motion. The other thing, they have an app so you can scan it and you can charge your vehicles, electric vehicles, at 400,000 charging stations in China. So, Matt, what stands out to you if I ask you, what does finger do? To me, there's nothing. To me, it is 6, 7, 8, 9 different things. None of those 9 things can lead the company to in the mind of investors today, can lead the company to a Amazon or a Nvidia-like performance. But those are extreme performances, a Netscape type of performance. Why? Because you can't explain it. I can't explain it to you without it getting very long-winded. So until finger motion has one of those engines of growth distinguish itself and become the lead charger, the lead horse for the company, I think the stock it's a China stock. It's it's hard to get excited about if you don't care. I'm excited about finger, don't get me wrong, but I'm just taking the other side of new money. The second thing is earnings are not positive. Now you can say with finger it's 5 steps back. Well, did you predict COVID? Did you predict the pandemic? Did you predict China's reaction to the pandemic, shutting down business throughout the country? Do you know that I can't say it on YouTube, where the pandemic originated? Did you predict any of that? I don't think you should own finger motion, Matt. I think you should sell your finger motion. That's not financial advice. And I personally, if you want something that could happen quickly, divide it between rail, silver, and nicks, and just get out of finger. Stop being a Eeyore. But I actually think finger's on the verge of all of this stuff that they've done. I think finger's on the verge for their fourth quarter, which ends end of February 2025 for us. That's the end of their 2025 year. I think for their fourth quarter, they're going to go positive in earnings. Is that definite? No, it's not definite, but it's on the last 2 interviews with Martin. It's what he feels confident about, but he can't promise it. If Finger were to go positive in earnings for the fourth quarter of their 2025, what will become critical is what are their earnings for 2026 going to look like? And if it's one of those large areas, my guess, it's going to be those vehicles. And and the investment world can project forward revenue, cash flow, and earnings, which are predictable, growing, and repeatable, I think the shorts are in trouble. And then the stock might be revalued. But I don't think, Matt, Finger's the wrong stock for you. I think you're a sourpuss, which I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying that your attitude towards this investment is as a sourpuss. Why don't you get out of it? Get into something that could give you some excitement. My favorite is Railtown in terms of timing and in terms of being able to understand the fact that the entire investment world is greased for technology, greased for AI, greased for NVIDIA and Amazon and Apple and all the big things, greased for it. So there doesn't have to be much explanation. Some good news and boom, it goes. Secondly, they finished their software development. They now have a product that's light years ahead of anybody else, or so they say. Awareness comes in. I think you are on the verge of a repricing upward of Railtown Technologies. That could happen very quickly. And the other one is Nixie. I think Nixie, to me, actually has a less exciting fundamental story, but there is a fundamental story there. And I think Nixie, I don't know when, but I think in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 months, I think Nixie could have a good move. The ZJYLs, the GDCs, some of these others, they also could move. But I don't think Finger's for you. I think Finger takes 5 steps backwards in your mind. I don't agree with you. I think Finger has done a tremendous job leveraging their relationships with important people in China. But it doesn't sound like the right stock for you, Matt. Don't go through life being Eeyore. Good for you, Chip. I like that. Let's see. So that means you spent, I don't know, $1,200, something like that. Let's say Rail goes to, let's say Rail goes to $3.50. That's 10x, right? So $1,200 would become $12,000. But let's say Rail gets bought out sometime next year and you're still in it. Railtown is such a logical buyout. I did the presentation with you. The founders have all built software companies and then sold them. One they built was sold to Microsoft. You don't think they're trying to do that again? Now, I don't know if or when it happens, but maybe it happens, I don't know, a year from now. But imagine if it gets done at I'm making it up, $35 a share. Well, your $1,200 might turn into $120,000. That'd be pretty nice, huh? That'd be pretty darn nice. Please ask Cam about the spike. Ham hasn't called in yet, so I will. We don't know whether Roth sold real shares. Stop it, 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 stop it. Everything in the US financial system is electronic. There's no distinction between real, fake, counterfeit. They're all the same. The only difference is when you buy, you have to put up cash. When Volstoy King's friends sell, they don't have to put up stock. And they never have to settle. And it's okay with Ann Wagner. Roth raised the money and the company issued, well, let's go with the total. The company is on line to issue as much as 8.33 million shares. Those are newly issued shares from the company. By all definition, those are real. That's what's being sold to the public. 3.33 million has already been sold to its institutions. And then there's 5 million shares they're in hock for. We know those are real. It expands the company's cap table. And we also know it's at the end of the year. Don't expect the stock to go up until I hope Roth starts supporting their own offering. But if Roth gets the stock back to 150 or 160, I will think that Roth is supporting the offering. If Roth does not, I will tend to think that Roth is actually working with the big funds who get a benefit out of selling endless shares they never settle. Hey, Flora, Merry Christmas. Hey, Mike, very Merry Christmas. The reason these companies always end up failing is Volstoy King and Old Mold and their friends. How are they able to drop finger? God, I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. I'm not picking on any one of you, but it can't. You believe that the U.S. markets work? They don't work. Whoever they is can sell endless amounts of shares from Europe, and they not only don't they ask for settlement, they don't even keep track of the trades. I just read it to you. And Ann Wagner thinks it'll be a violation of constitutional rights because she is a big fat idiot. I have a question for you. No, Mike. The warrants are, to my memory, 2-year warrants. It'll be interesting if they expand them to 5 years because that was the deal they did with Roth. But I don't know where you're getting the 10 days from. You're mixing two different things. Roth raised essentially $4.4 million for Finger. Finger gave up 3 million shares plus and warrants, 5-year, $1.50 strike price warrants. So Finger gave up a little over 8 million shares for $4.5 million. They do not have to exercise those warrants ever. If there's a market in the warrants, they can just sell the warrants. If they were to exercise, they've got either 2 years. Well, right now, the Roth warrants have 5 years. The special dividend is 2 years. But you don't have to exercise before that time. There's no reason to. None in the world. Just wait to the end. Why tie up your capital? The warrant will reflect the value of the stock trading, so why exercise that? Now, my suspicion is that the criminals have come up with a new way to expand their ability to sell stock without delivery based on those 5 million warrants. They sound so innocent, but when you have derivatives out there that you can write and hedge trades, all you need is 5 million warrants to maybe protect derivatives that represent 50 million non-delivered shares, possibly as much as 500 million non-delivered shares. It's all in the algorithms and the derivatives. That's my opinion. I do not like the financing, but on the other hand, it's the only thing, it's the only source of capital it seems like that Finger had to go to. Receive 500,000 free warrants at 150. Oh, would they receive the dividend? Yeah, they'll get the dividend. They'll get the dividend as long as they still have the stock. I guess that's what you're asking. Congress can limit the cat trail to anyone who buys more than 10,000. That would be great, Big Vic. Sometimes I sound like a conspiracy theorist. No, you sound like the loony. There is proof. There's circumstantial evidence. It's in the stock prices. You are the one who, to me, sounds like a conspiracy theorist. You sound like a complete mental, unbalanced pea brain. Disregard the 150 I put in the trade alarms. Yeah, it is. They would get at them, and it would be more funding for the company if they're exercised. No question about that. And that is something attractive. Look, at some point, if you want to worry Finger to death for these next days, let me tell you, I don't think Finger's going to squeeze in 90 days. Okay? I don't think Rail's going to squeeze, but I think Rail could go up massively as it's revalued. It's gone from a product that didn't exist to the product that kicks ass and is now on the market, and the market is huge. Nixie, I think, could have a short squeeze, but chasing short squeezes is like chasing four-leaf clovers. But it could happen. And both of those could happen sooner than Finger goes over $3 or $4. So if you want to watch Finger and be upset by it, it's not the right stock for you if you're watching it every single day and everything. Well, it's going to drive you crazy. Now, could Finger excite the hell out of you all at once? Sure. There could be a surprise. And that's the key. Short squeezes come on surprises. And I think Finger has those ingredients. But if you're going to piss and moan and be full of vinegar every day about it, just get it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Birds sing every day. Dogs wag their tails. Girls give you a quick smile. Coffee comes with a warm odor as you sip it. The news is good. bells ring, music comes, just go enjoy life. Just get out of Finger. Stop bitching and moaning about Finger. And don't listen to old Mold. He is paid to spread fear and uncertainty because he's short. And don't listen to Volstoy King, a know-it-all that knows nothing. You know, Jeremy, I have moved on, but can you imagine if you get impatient about it? I hear the same shite every single freaking time. It's always a different name. I can't tell if they're a shill or a real person. But man, I want to stop explaining the same thing over and over again. I don't know. Wow, I haven't even looked at a week. Jeez Louise. You know what, Ben? You are gone. Those are only the volunteer reporting. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Amby, love that dog. The SEC should fine companies. I agree. We got fingered by Finger? I don't know. Look, guys, when you chase after the Holy Grail and then your mood changes, who do you blame? Yourself? I don't think we're fingered by Finger. I'm tired of it. It is the tax loss season. Everyone's on vacation. I don't want to answer questions about the stock price of Finger for the next 5 days. Let's see if Roth Capital comes in and holds it up. If Roth Capital doesn't, then we have a pretty good indication that Roth Capital at a minimum doesn't vet their institutional clients, and or that Roth Capital is just helping the shorts keep this system going for Stevie Cohen. Of course, everything's my opinion. I have to say the same thing over and over again. I don't think we've been fingered by Finger. It's clever. I think Finger is doing a good job growing. I think a stock of Finger's growth profile, I'm not speaking specifically about Finger, has the potential in a normal market to trade up on research reports, and then they can use that to raise money at favorable prices. But that doesn't exist in Ann Wagner's markets. There is no capital formation in the over-the-counter markets. So the people who do form capital are the Jeff Eastons of the world. Their hedge funds sell stock at 270 and give it to the company at 150. That spread is Ann Wagner's market. But you voted for her. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I think Railtown, well, that's an interesting point too, Ricky. The Railtown market that it addresses is growing massively. Railtown's AI, artificial intelligence, even though it's in a closed, it's not open source, it will improve itself, educate itself, and get better and better and better. And this is what's exciting to investors of AI. I don't barely understand it, but I can understand the whole idea of moving from a huge acquisition of software engineers in 9 months turning it all in a cloud-based application called Conductor that takes minutes or days and it's all done, I can understand that. And I can also understand the idea of a big company just wanting to own Railtown, because they won't have time to invent a competing patented product. They won't have time because Railtown, as it says in the presentation I showed you, has first mover advantage. They're going to claim. Hey, can you go live?
Yeah, I got it going in.
All right, let me see if I can get the speaker.
Okay.
Battery 30%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
Yeah, I got to call you back and I'll have the speaker. To turn it off. Takes a while to come back on there because okay. That's loud. Okay, now that's connected. All right.
All right, William, I think we got it online now.
Yeah, sorry it took so long. You're live.
So tell me what I missed. Have I missed anything?
No, I've been a little annoyed with some of the people, but no, you haven't missed anything. There's a lot of good people here talking about Finger, talking about the markets, and
All right, so let's start off with ZJYL. It took off yesterday.
that's one of the questions. They want to know, why did it go to 240?
And this morning, people were texting me that it traded up. Actually, one person sold it and bought it back. Out of a lot of people that printed, I got up late, so I missed the whole thing. People, if you're involved in any names that could have the potential these wild swings, you got to be on top of it. You know, you can take advantage of these swings. If you own 5,000 shares, you don't need to sell 5 in case it keeps going, but you could have made a sale on anything and bought it back and, you know, put money in your pocket. So the trading is something that you have to watch all the time. It's not just, you know, it's between 9:30 and 4. These guys have markets all day long, and you got to be on your toes. It sucks. That's why I don't want to do it anymore. But, you know, if I would have been long ZJYL and this an opportunity to make a sale and try to change my position, whether I bought more yesterday, you got to be on your toes, because that's how you're going to dig yourself out from a bad trade. And it's just, you know, it's chaining yourself to the desk, which I do not want to do anymore. I did it for a long time. All right. So, but again, be aware of what goes on. These guys, there's a lot of manipulation. Unfortunately, it's happening at 7 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it happens at 8 o'clock.
What do you think it was? Was it short covering? Somebody asked.
The shorts were starting to get squeezed. People were, you know, the momentum was building again. Listen, whenever momentum builds, they need to stop it.
I see.
I told you that's the key. You know, if they thought they could win, why didn't you let ZJ run to 12 today, right? Why? What's the big fight to push it from 240 back down again like crazy, right?
Right.
I do believe that this is a different time and that people are buying these dips, you know, without me even saying it. They're buying it. Know that, you know what? Anything that runs to 250 from, you know, it was 80 cents, ran to 250 on a couple of million shares, and it's down here again, there's no selling. They know it's going to turn up. I just don't know what day. It could be by the end of the day, but there's definitely FTDs that were moved around. That's what they did. That was with the ZJYL. Okay, this you want? Can I move on, or you
Yeah,
got any
move on.
questions about that?
Move on.
The,
Well, no, what do you think ZJYL will do because of that? Anything?
do I think the company's going to do anything?
No, the stock price. I mean, it traded to 240, came back. Did it mean anything, or is it just a one-off?
No, I think it's going to turn and go back up again.
Okay.
You know, that's a lot of potatoes moving around there. There's something's going on. You know, whether it's the group that's been involved in it, you know, starting to wake it up. I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but
Okay.
but it is holidays, and my connections, the wealthy people that I know all go away on holidays, and us slobs are always here. So this is the way Wall Street works. The higher end disappears, goes on vacation, and everybody else is stuck here listening, trying to fight through whatever misery they have. All right, that's just how it works. It's unfortunate, but since I've been on Wall Street, it's been the same pattern. No matter how well I ever did, I've always been around. But yes, I think that ZJYL will dig in, and there'll be another leg. One of my friends happened to purchase it at 109. I think he said he bought it at. You know, he averaged down there. He hasn't traded out of it, but I think worst comes to worst, you can always break even at the 109 print if you wanted to. But he brought his average down to $3 from a high average by purchasing it at $1.09. So if he gets that move back up, you know, he could trade what he bought this morning and hold on to his higher price stock and lower the cost. There's 100 things you can do. But I do think it's in play, and again, I don't know when it's going to go. I know the short is big. We all know that. So, and whatever the short was before, they multiplied it by 20. It was a 20-for-1 forward split. So if you had one share, you now have 21 shares. All right, that's what they did. They did the opposite. The reverse split, and I just go through with you for a second. The stock KNW and GMGI are the next victims of Lynn Partners. And you say, what does that mean? Well, Lynn Partners funded a company called SYTA, Sam, Yellow, Tom, Apple. Okay? The company has, since I've been following, has done 2 reverses, not 1, 2. And they just completed their second one. And if you wanted to look, and you can see the damage from the reverses, the 52-week high, 1 year, the 52-week high, taking into account that the reverse is $909. And the 52 low is $450. So they just completed another reverse after killing it twice. And the stock is $6 today, up 84 cents. They murdered this company. The shareholders were robbed blind. Management just got taken to the cleaners. But the one thing good about the reverse is that management and the company will continue to have a company. They raise money, but the shareholders from the beginning to the middle all been robbed blind. The management's going to sit there and say, we have no choice. We're sorry about that. You know, we have a vision and all that blah, 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 blah. But, you know, everyone got wiped out. KNW, CMGI, both signed up for Lynn Partners, and they will have the same future as that stock just had. These guys control the right to convert shares, and they can convert at the lowest price. When you do that, you flood the market with too many shares, right? The company gets diluted, the market cap gets crushed, and everyone's out of business, and the company's still alive. Like CVM, CELU, MULN. All these companies are newly recapitalized companies. Their shares have been destroyed, the investors wiped out, and the companies continue like no big deal. I don't believe in that, and that's why I fight and I educate companies to stay away from that. Otherwise, that's the Wall Street car wash. Give me a toxic note, we'll drive it down, they'll call you up, you got to get the price up, you reverse it, and they just start over again and repeat, do it again. And that's what happens. SYTA 2 times. It's been reversed. Now it's $6 again. So if you were shorting the stock at 50 cents, when it gets back up to 6, you know their business model stinks, so you can manipulate the stock, and they just start over again. So those things you got to stay away from. It's unfortunate, and everyone thinks, oh, it's a $6 stock. William, how many shares of that company did you have after they did the reverse?
8, I think, or was it 12?
How many did you start with?
Oh, sorry. That's what I started with. Are you talking about ZJYL?
No, you're a silver company.
Oh, that one I started with, I invested, I had 300, I ended up with 30. But the medical company, I started with 150,000 and I have 1 share left. And it's a good company.
And that's what happened. It's a good company, but like William just said to you, the good companies, what happens to them? You can see what happens to them.
Well, they needed capital. I mean, when you're growing, you need capital.
They take advantage of it. The government doesn't let these guys, listen, these guys have trades that are unsettled. There's not, they leave it, the game is slanted against us. It's complete fraud, complete. I wish I could say more, but it's just nothing but fraud. And that's what we're seeing. So we're trying to navigate the fraud. And the only way to navigate the fraud is by education. That's the only way you can do it. And what we've been doing every day is educating you about it. Now I know people lost money. I got it. We're trying our best. We can't stop it. We're doing everything in our power to stop this nonsense. I can't believe President Trump has not spoken about it yet. I just can't believe that he hasn't, and it bothered the shit out of me that he hasn't. But again, it is what it is. We have to wait and see what he does. We have to, he's gonna be president in what, 20 days, William? Is that what it is?
More than that.
Oh, it's January 20th. I'm sorry. January 20th is when he's sworn in.
Yep.
So we're just waiting to see what he's going to say. He's got a new SEC commissioner. His friend is the head of the DOJ. His other friend is the head of the FBI. I mean, I don't think you can get any better than that. If we can't win now, if this doesn't stop now, unfortunately, I don't believe it can ever stop. I just think that this is the time. It's going to happen. I think stocks like DJT, Finger Motion, things that are in the front line of this fight will get rewarded quickly. I think we are seeing a lot of names, William, that have been moving up. A lot of small cap names that have taken off. People are texting me new names every day. So there is something going on. I think the ones with the biggest problems are the ones that go last because these are massive problems. I think Finger Motion, people asked me yesterday, what do I really think the number is? I really think the number is 250. If they diluted this whole offering of 8 million shares, so we're still at 240. The real short, for those who don't know, the real short covered 250,000 shares last week. And we looked at the date, it was December 13th. So around December 13th, they covered around $2.10. Remember, they were short at 220, they covered it at 210. Now they're short 1.3 million more, and we have to see what they're going to do. And we can't tell until the next update because that data, I don't get it daily. So the real short's still 1.4 almost. The naked short's 240 million, right? And we're just sitting here waiting on everything that's going on, as far as the company. Now, I reached out to my big shareholder friends, and they're trying to get an answer from the CEO who is speaking to their banker about when he could start addressing everything about the money raised and that. Unfortunately, I don't know what the relationship with the banker is. We know it's Worth Capital. I don't know why they can't speak yet, but I guess we must have to wait for the banker to tell them, go ahead. The deal closed the other day, so that's set in stone. So now we need the company to come out and address what did they need the money for right now. And the only thing we can think of is that they have this massive contract. And if you do not if you do not honor the contract, meaning if you do not start working and getting it complete, there's always a chance you can lose a deal like that, because if you don't have the financial means to complete the transaction, you can lose it. That's all we can think of that this could possibly be, because it made no sense to rush to do the raise while we're waiting for the dividend news, which we're waiting for an audit on. We're waiting on that. So we're waiting to see what they're going to do there. And that's what we're waiting for. So that's that. So we're just waiting on the company and the Roth Capital to give permission to go, and I'm sure that's coming. And I'm sure we're going to get some information about why they needed the money. And I know for a fact we're going to get information on the dividend. What day is it? I don't know. Is the audit done? But I'm being told that the dividend is 100% in play and will happen. So I can sit here and wait. Doesn't make a difference. The company, someone paid, whether we like it or not, someone paid $1.50. And they gave the company $5 million. Wall Street is notorious that if someone pays $1.50 and puts $5 million up, what's the rush for me to sell my 5,000 shares at $1.25? I don't see the rush. If someone paid $1.50, all right, they paid $1.50 because they believe that's the bottom, that the stock is going to turn up. Even if they were the shorts, they paid that price because they believed the stock is going to turn up and wasn't going to go much lower, or they could manipulate it much lower. So either way, whether it was a real buyer or a short trying to cover, they knew they couldn't get it much lower, so they jumped in and just did it. So now what do you want to do? Who's selling it down here? The company issued 3.3 million shares. In 5 days, I think we traded almost 7 to 8 million shares. So 3 million shares of someone buying at $1.50 triggered almost 8 million shares in volume. That doesn't make any sense. And again, most of that stuff I showed you, the volume has been washed back and forth. We all see that. And, so again, we need the company to speak. The company will speak. When they speak, I don't know, but it's got to be close. And when they do speak, that's when we get to see what's going on behind the scenes. That's it. But the company raised the money, and I'm not happy about it. Trust me, I'm not a money. I don't like to raise money. I believe in screwing everybody and just fight to the death. But I'm not the CEO. These guys are in charge, and they needed to. And they wanted to raise money. So I could say, I don't know what their obligation was, but that's what they did. Any questions about that, Wayne?
Well, there's a lot of general questions about whether or not Trump is going to do anything at all about anything.
I had dinner last night with him at the hot dog stand, and he told me, I don't know. I can't believe he hasn't said it yet. If I knew he wasn't going to say anything, I would have voted for the witch. I mean, I'm just here for this. It's ridiculous that he saved the crypto industry. I turned it into guys like Michael Saylor. These guys all became super billionaires because they spoke about crypto. Now, I don't know if crypto is the savior as everyone's. I have no idea. It's not my business. But how could you not say anything about the equity markets? They know Devin Nunes. If you just Google Truth Social naked short selling, there's 50 stories, maybe more, that all say the same thing. Fraud, 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 blame the short sellers, fraud, fraud. We're going after the shorts. Go read it yourself. How is Devin Nunes not standing on a soapbox out in front of the SEC screaming at him? I don't know. So with Pam Bondi, the head of the DOJ, Cash Patel, he's the board of director of DOJ. Pam Bondi owns 130,000 shares. Devin Nunes is the CEO. Trump owns 50, 60% of the stock. How are they not saying anything when they know everything about what's going on? I'm lost. I can't believe it. Well, that tells me that they are. So it's really what it tells me, that it's coming. Maybe they're waiting for the right time. Maybe he's waiting for when he gets into office. I don't know.
That was the main question that seems to be this bottom.
I mean, listen, everyone, do like I'm doing. How is it possible that he's not spoken about this yet? It's basically impossible. He knows about it. I've had people talk to him face to face about it. You know, Dan Bongino owns Rumble. You know, these guys, everyone's got stakes, and their money comes from these big investments. You know, who's holding it down? What's going on here? Who shorted DJT stock before the assassination attempt? You tell me no one's going to investigate that? Johnny Tobacco put it up 10 times. Who shorted it here? You know, they didn't expect him to live the weekend. They did it twice. They shorted it, almost tried to kill him. So if they're not going to do it, if they're not going to say anything, I think within the next, January 20th, I'll give them to February 20th, and then I could just say, hey, if they're not saying anything by then, I don't know what to say. But I don't wait for Donald Trump or Devin Nunes or anybody else to move off their ass. We got the company doing a special dividend, and we will do everything possible to expose it using dividends. Maybe spin off a division. We're talking about that now. So we have the warrant, the special warrant, that'll be number one. Then we're looking for number two, because we're not going to wait for these criminals to control the game. We're going to keep coming at them until we control the game. And they can say what they want. They can yell all they want, post all they want. We're not going away. These tricks will expose them. We have good lawyers that are looking into it, trying to work on it, because this is the blueprint for everybody else to use. And what's the blueprint worth? It's worth a lot of money if I have it. That's correct. All right, I can sell it to everybody on the street. And that's what we're going to do. Maybe that's what they're afraid of. But these guys are criminals. And I just have to say it. This VIRT with this guy screaming at them to put him up for sale or whatever. I think he's saying that so someone would look under the hood. But VIRT traded 180,000 shares today. It's nothing but a complete fraud. All they do is naked short. It's a market maker firm. That's all it is. They make all their money because they're just like Citadel, only this is public. This stock is worthless. When they force stock settlement, it's zero. And people in that firm will go to jail, just like Ken Griffin. All right, so that's how big a flop this is, a $5. And the company does nothing but steal money by naked short selling. Your orders go in and they short it. There's all the proof that they have fails to deliver. They have shares that they sold. They haven't purchased back yet. It's worth billions of dollars. When you sell something short and you get $1 billion in and you have to buy it back at $10 billion, you lose $9 billion. You're out of business. And that's what's going to happen when stock settlement gets enforced. So is Donald Trump looking at the pros and cons of how many companies are going to take a beating? Goldman Sachs, Jefferies, JP Morgan. These guys are going to take a beating when this does happen. Are they bowing down to them? I don't think so, but I think they have to understand what's going to happen here to these major players. They're all going to get crushed. But we don't care. They crushed us already. We want our money back.
Wow. Michael Jordan's Chicago mansion just got sold for $20 million discount. It's beautiful. He must be gambling again. Do you think Finger will squeeze to a high price?
Yes. I would listen. The stock went to 10. I'm still here. Do you think we were looking for 10 at that point? No. I'm not here to be to sit here and say I get a medal for carrying the company across the finish line. We're here to make money. And we're here to make a lot of money. And if you have this mentality in GameStop, you made a lot of money, right? GameStop has institutions playing there. It's the only reason it's still bouncing around. And Brian Cohn is tied to the street. Him and his friends helped squeeze it. He made all the calls. He helped squeeze it. He did it Bed Bath & Beyond. He got busted by the SEC for doing a short squeeze and then selling his position while he was touting it. But they let him off the hook. And they told him that this is my guess, is that GameStop, he forced them to sell shares to cover the shorts, 140 million shares. And after he did that, William, what was dropped? His case in the Bed Bath & Beyond case was dropped.
Right.
So it looks like they negotiated, hey, I'll do this, you drop that. And that's what looks like it happened to me. And for some reason, now the company's got billions of dollars in the bank. Everyone's pushing it that for whatever reason, they think it's something else is going to happen. You know what? The stock, to me, is a trading stock. It dips, buy it, goes up, sell it. I have people doing it every day, buying the dip, making between 30 and 80 cents a day trading the stock. You just do 1,000 shares and you make 30 cents, you make 300 a day, 1,500 a week. You do the math, it's very easy. GameStop, DJT are both those type of stocks now. Maybe ZJYL will join the ranks of buy the dip, sell the rip. Finger motion has not gotten that moment yet. Okay, we don't have the buy the dip, sell the rip. We haven't got that movement yet. It'll come, and when it comes, that's when you can play it. But the problem is with finger motion. The only problem I see in finger motion is that when the stock wants to go, it won't stop. I don't believe you're going to get these stopping at the 3rd floor, 8th floor, 10th floor. I think you're going to go like the express that used to be to the top of the trade center. You know, you get in that elevator to the 110th floor. Well, I don't know if you're ever up there. That whole elevator used to rock back and forth like it was like a ride. You know, going up to the top. You know, there's a lot of leeway. I'll say in the elevator. What do you call it? The sleeve, whatever it is, it used to bounce around. So I think it's just going to be like that. Very different. And I think it's going to be a rocket shot. What else, William? Anything else?
There's a lot of questions on Trump. Will the warrants that are issued be $1.50?
It's an open outcry. Basically, it's going to be a market. You can make it whatever you like. Whatever the bid and offer is going to come, it's going to come from us.
Celeste wishes you happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
She's growing up quickly.
I know, too long. Make sure you have your earmuffs on. I'm being polite today, Celeste. Put your earmuffs on. I can't remember. Is Celeste, does she play the violin? Does she play a musical instrument? I can't remember.
Maybe. All I remember is she's got a great dog named Sheriff. And a loving father.
What else you got?
How much do you think the dividend will be for Finger?
The dividend has no value until it goes into money. I'll give you an example. Let's say the warrant is a $3 warrant. The stock is $1, whatever, it's $1.30. What's the warrant going to be worth with the stock at $3? Okay. For 2 years, you have the right to purchase stock at $3. So let's have 1,000 shares. I'll get 100 warrants. If the stock goes to 100, 100 minus 3, 97 times 100, you make $9,700 for free. For 100, for just having 1,000 shares of Finger FNGR, you'll get 1 for 10, so you'll get 10, you'll get 100 dividend shares. So as the stock moves up, that warrant, let's say, starts out at 50 cents, 50 to 70 cents is the market in it, because it's just based on time premium. As the stock moves up, the price of the warrant's going to move up. Now remember, the day it's issued, the short sellers are short, let's say it's 230 million, to be short 23 million at 50 cents. That means 50 cents times 23 million, or $10 million. They will have a loss of $10 million out of the gate, because they didn't make any money. They didn't make a sale. They did nothing. And you're going to sit there and say, well, these guys are going to short them. You know what? Something shorting something that has 2 years to go, okay, there's not going to be a bright move, because people will buy those things. I think anything below $1, people are going to scoop up. Everyone's going to own a small amount. What's the rush to go sell your 100 shares or 1,000 shares? Would you like to go sell your 1,000 shares at 50 cents to make $500 and pay tax on it? Or do you want to just put it in a drawer? It was free, and just hold on to it. Right? When the stock goes, you sell your stock, you hold on to your warrant, and you get a free shot to the upside. That's what I think the value is going to be. These things are going to explode in value, and I believe margin and these shorts are, and the losses from that dividend is really going to put pressure on these guys to finish them off. So either Trump says something, if he doesn't, we have this going for us. Anything else with it?
I don't know if this is a legit question. What if that means the can is kicked past the 2-year warrant date? Price won't go up until after warrant period?
I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So sorry.
You get a free warrant for 2 years. Free. 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 And it's all being done to help you squeeze the shorts. That's what it's all about.
Celeste is 6 and she plays the guitar.
Oh, okay.
So you were right.
I thought she played a musical instrument. I couldn't remember what it was.
There's a feeling among several of the investors that maybe people are just getting tired of being in finger, and that it's not going to go to 10 again.
Listen,
and all this negativity,
Listen, you know what? I agree with you. People are tired, and it happens in every stock. We get tired also. We all get upset. We get tired. And I did the same thing in GDC. I was tired of it, but I stood with it because the guy telling me it was very good. I stood with it. I averaged down, then I got lucky and it exploded, and I sold it like I'm supposed to. That's what I did. So I was tired of it. I've been tired of doing this for 24 years.
25
years now. Not yet, William. 25 years. I get tired of it also. We all get tired of it. But guess what? When you get tired and you sell, and I know someone who just sold ZJYL for a tax loss at 80 cents the other day, and then it just screamed yesterday and today. So it happens to everybody, and you know what? It sucks. We all do it. We get out, and then they go. That's just it's just the way it is. We can't do anything about it. We all make the mistake. And when you do get out, someone else will scoop it up. There's 230 million shares short. There's a lot of shares they have to buy back. So I apologize, but it's not us. We put the truck in front of the SE 15 times. I put it out there. I don't think I can insult anyone else on the planet. I think I've done it to everybody. There's not much more I can do. We need Trump. But we need the company to pull up its pants and do it themselves. And you know what? Again, I don't agree on them raising money, but if they needed it to help drive business and revenue and get the profitability, that's what they have to do as management. I don't call those shots. If it was me, I told you I'd burn down the building before I sell a share. But these guys are probably, are they at risk of losing their business? because they can't fulfill the contract. And that happens a lot to public companies. You know? And that's how it works. But time is a killer. Right? We always say that time is a killer of all deals, right?
Yeah.
And people get tired of it. And you know what? People were tired in GameStop. I put a lot of people into GameStop. And it dragged. It was going sideways for a while. Then it popped. And they were all laughing and giggling that they bought 100,000 at 3 3/4, and they sold it at 7, and at 9, and 8, and 12, and 15. And they were calling me up, and I was the king of the hill. I made 800,000. I made 600,000. Thanking me. They couldn't believe that they finally put a short squeeze. They loved it. 3 days later, 9 out of 10 people that I put into it were already jumping on the Verrazano Bridge, ready to jump off it. Because now it's at 200, 300. I left millions on the table. What did I do? They all said the same thing. They all said the same thing. What did I do? And that's what happens. Just that everyone does the same thing. And that's why I tried to teach you, based on past experiences, that when you do sell something that's running, you get out of it small the whole way up. That's the way to do it. Get your money off the table, your initial investment. Get it off the table. That's number one. And then you start selling a little over time, and no matter where it goes, you're always making a sale and you're making money. Just don't think like you hit the lottery. Hurry up! I paid 2. It's 22. Let me sell it. I sold it all at 22. I made 100,000. I used 40,000 in taxes. I got 55,000. Let me go buy a car. And the next day it's 222. And you feel like a fool. But if you're selling, 200, 300, 200, always up. This way you're able to stay longer in the game. Once your money's off the table, that's when you win.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, William, I have to hold on. William, I just got to put you guys on hold for a second. You can check in.
All right.
All right.
Wash your hands afterward. It's true. I think GTI ran because of the warrant. I think it makes sense to buy it. I just personally think the time frame, whenever think of a marathon runner or a sprint runner. If they have a heart attack, it takes a while to get back up and run another race. So thank you for your opinion, Chris. Like all problems, I guess they're best just to ignore them. Paul in church with kids playing. All right, I'll look for that. Fundamentals matter. I agree with that. But I don't agree with your statement. People who disagree with him are not shills. It would be more accurate to say not all people who disagree with him are shills. Many of the people here are shills. Yeah, Ricky on Rail. Yes, I think they could apply, but I would really wonder. I don't know how long it takes for a NASDAQ exchange, and I don't see any benefit to being on Adina Friedman's exchange. But if it takes longer than 9 months or a year, I'd be really.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, go ahead.
no, what were you saying?
Nothing, just talking, rambling.
So my garage door broke, the opener broke, and so you know in a home, your garage door opener breaks, my house locked, I can't get in the house, I had to break a window to get in, and it became a downward spiral. Everything went wrong. So that's how it goes. But anyway.
Maybe you shouldn't have broken the window. Maybe you should have gone to the hardware store.
I couldn't get into the house. What am I gonna do?
You could have.
Anyway. But so anyway, so again, like I said, in that single motion, the company will, and is going to help us out. They are, from what I'm told, they're waiting for Roth Capital to give permission to speak. When he gets permission to speak, he'll come your way, William, and we'll get a nice video. And for the people that said that you don't trust Martin, that is completely false. The guy is an ace. I met him a few times. He's a gentleman. He wouldn't do anything to hurt his shareholders. He knows what Lynn Partners is about. Everyone he knows. The only reason he probably took money is A, to get us research report, or to enhance his business, or to drive revenue to get us to profitability. That's it. There's no other motive in this guy. People work 5 years not to help people like Lynn Partners out. The U.S. government has allowed these creatures to rob everybody. So get it through your head. So if you're pissed off and you're losing, and I got it, we're all in the same boat. Lynn Partners and the U.S. government are the people that are hurting us. And the U.S. government, I don't understand what they're doing, how the SEC, look at the MMTO people, everyone's getting screwed here. If we don't stop and we don't fight, everyone will lose. Your kids, your grandkids, you name it, yourself, everyone gets wiped out. That's what this fight is about. Now, I don't give a fuck if you're too lazy and you're a scumbag and all you care about is making $1. I got it. For those people that won't want to do that, go fuck yourself. I'm not here to help you make money. All right? I'm here to stop the fraud and give you an opportunity that I believe is the greatest opportunity that you're ever going to see. All right? I don't need to do this. I can go pick stocks and trade all day by myself. I don't need to do this. I chose to fix this. Okay? And for some weird reason, don't get me wrong, I'm not nutty. But I do believe that, being born on Christmas Day, that I'm here for a reason and I can't stop doing this. Don't ask me why. Some people feel that way, I do. And I had friends that helped me and they all passed away or given up or had a heart attack. And I'm still standing. And I'm standing for a reason. And I have my energy and I keep fighting for a reason. All right? I fight for my family, and I fight for shareholders, and I fight for a public company that wants to fight. If you don't want to fight, MULN, CELU, KNW, GMGI, TLRY, you name it, just go down the road. Instead, these people all got wiped out by short sellers. All of them. Peloton, Beyond Meat, all of them. All they had to do was do something, and they did nothing. They thought Wall Street was going to handle them. Instead, all their ideas are going backwards. They're laying people off. There's no innovation. They lay people off, and it's a downward debt spiral. You guys, I'm sure everyone on this phone has picked a stock that they know this happened to them. You go through the names. I don't know every weird name, but the big names that squeezed, those companies raised money, and they actually had a business, but they just kept attacking. They went after Peloton like they were murdering people. Like they killed 100 people. Unfortunately, a baby did get killed off of their treadmill. The people put the baby on the treadmill. Something stupid like that happened. But that's not the company's fault. But they beat that company to death. I didn't know it, but I watched it. I know people in it. I knew someone that actually worked at the company. All gone. Everybody laid off, and that was the end of innovation. Everything they were doing was gone because of Wall Street. Nothing else. That's the game. But if you don't fight, this thing is going to go on forever. It's 37 years that it's going on since the cover of Forbes, 1988. You tell me anyone on this phone wants to see this go on, to see your kids go to college, come out and put some money in the market and get ripped off by guys like Lynn Partners or the Kramers or Yorkville, whoever else these guys are. That's what's going on. That's just what it is. There's a few stars. Look at Savvy Management. He's got a $10 million condo on Fisher Island. How do I know about Fisher Island? I knew a guy sold his fish business, and he made like $100 million, and he moved to Fisher Island many years ago, and I went there as a guest. Otherwise, I never knew where the hell it was. And this fat bastard, he bought a $10 million, and it's in the newspaper, bragging about it. So he had to steal $100 million to pay for a $10 million condo, to pay all the fees all these years. It cost a fortune. Yet this guy, Hal Mintz, partners with Lynn Partners, Jeff Easton, looting companies. We can all see the deals they worked on together. And no one says anything about it. They just make it shorting, no big deal. The SEC gets them, they pay a fine, and it's okay. Everybody else got wiped out. That's what we're fighting about. And if you don't want to fight, I got it. Hang up, move along, I could care less. But just remember the people that are sick.
Call firm, Dr. S's.
Him and everybody else that wants to fight. The MFTO people, Busy Brands, Anna, Susan Trimbath, all these people have been around a long time. We just don't have the clout. We have the clout now. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Devin Nunes, President Trump. If we don't win now, it's never going to win. This is when you take your shot. If you don't think this is the time to take the shot, there's nothing I can tell you. This, to me, is screaming, take the shot. Whatever you want to play, now is the time to do it. You're never going to get better. You got 20 days, whatever it is, to January 20th. I don't know how many trading days that is. Trump says one word about naked short selling and people going to jail, which I've always heard he's going to do. You watch what happens. Because these people belong in jail. The prime brokers, the broker, that guy from Morgan Stanley who works for Share and Tell, he should get his ass thrown in jail for not telling us who his client is and what stocks he naked shorted. He's a broker. He has records of that. He has Share and Tell. When Finger Motion comes out and tells you the dividends, bank day, you watch the stock what it does. Number one, the stock should be north of $1.50. Who's selling it down here? Anyone who sold it down here has to have their head examined because they have no idea what Wall Street's about. When someone puts $5 million in at $1.50, I don't give a shit if it's a till at a hunt. That's the floor in the stock. The guy put $5 million up. I'm going to go sell my 3,000 shares because I'm nervous about something. The guy paid $1.50. It's gonna drift back up to $1.50. And if those guys who had the 3 million shares, which I believe they probably sold before, okay? So I don't believe there's any stock for sale. Where are they gonna go? Anybody shorting it when they do the warrant will be exposed. You can't be short. That's what the dividend is about. If you're short, you have to deliver the dividend. That's how it works. That's the whole game. Anything else, William?
I don't know.
Listen, only positive thoughts. I don't want to hear negative news. Tell the negative people go someplace else.
I know. That's what I've been doing.
Just listen. There's no place for this anymore. We are not the police. I think I started by saying that 9 million times. If I had a gun and badge, trust me, there'll be people flying out of windows out of New York City with my team of people. But what do you want me to do? We put the truck, we tell people, come down, protest, come stand in front of the SEC. We understand. You don't need to go defend your position. We all understand that. Where does it say, I bought a stock, now I have to go fight for it? Where does it say that? No one's fighting for Apple Computer, NVIDIA, no one fights for these companies. But we have to sit here and fight 24/7 over a small investment. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. These guys belong in jail for life, like India does. India hangs hedge funds that want to steal. That's what it should be. These guys are just robbing people. What else we got, William?
A lot of negatives I'm trying to skip over.
Yeah, the negatives. Listen, the negative people, you know what? Have some balls. I'm going to call you out, the negative people. Call the SEC up and say, these motherfuckers are talking about this stock for 2 years. All it does is go down. They're scumbags. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you look into the sell tickets and see where they go? That's what you got to say. Get a pair of balls, call them up, and you can say exactly that. Where did the sell tickets go? Who's selling all these shares? Every day they sell every share. It can't be those two pricks that talk about it every day, because if it is them, they belong in jail. Go ahead, go make the call. You don't have to talk to us. Call the SEC, call the DOJ, call the FBI. By the way, we went to every one of them, and we called the SEC, and we registered complaints every day. And you know what the SEC said to you? Fuck you. That's what they said. The SEC says, fuck you. We don't give a shit about you. That's what the SEC said. Not us. We do care about you, and that's why we fight. The SEC, your government, says, fuck you. But we're fighting. GameStop people say it. Look at the people at GameStop. George Donahue fighting for AMC. These people fighting every day. And we got people here that are negative because they think they lost. They haven't lost yet. As a matter of fact, I think the game's getting very interesting now. And go back and look when Pat Byrne did his dividend. I got fucking bent over and fucking crushed. Stock went from $30 to $3 because the SEC delayed his dividend. Thanks to Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, they held up the dividend. And I got crushed, wiped out. It got approved. The stock went from 3 to 128. How do you think I felt? But because JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley shut it down because they needed to cover their shares, which they did when the stock got crushed. Then it went to 128, and I got fucking reamed. No one called me up, helped me out. Hey, what's going on? You must have killed them in that thing. I said, no, I lost all my money. Because it went from 30 to 3. I didn't cry to anybody. I didn't call anybody a scumbag. I know I got fucked. But I didn't cry. This is Wall Street. You want to cry? Call the SEC up and tell them you demand to see where the money's going. Go ahead, go find out. Be my guest. I'll drive it if you like. Go help yourself. We tried everything. But we're going to do it ourselves. If Donald Trump wants to step up and do the right thing, he'll be remembered for a long time that he did the right thing. I'm disappointed that he hasn't spoken yet. I'm super disappointed that he hasn't spoken yet. And I don't understand why he hasn't. I know people that are working closely with Devin Nunes, and that camp says something's coming. And I'm sitting here like you, and I can't stand it anymore, and I'm waiting just like you to see what's coming. And so far, the only thing that came was Christmas. That was it. What else we got, William? Like I said, everyone, please call the SEC up if you're upset and you're not happy, and you can tell them you joined our conference call and you heard about this stock and you can't believe that this is going on, and you believe that we are part of Lynn Partners or whatever it may be. Just follow the sell tickets. Please pull them up. I want you to do that. It'll make us all feel better. Even us bad guys, we want to be exposed. So please give them a call. You don't like that sarcasm, Wayne?
Leave me out of it.
Listen, we all want to quit. We're all on the same page.
The Roth deal did happen. The audit was not required for it to happen. And the audit's probably very close to being finished, because I doubt the deal happened if the audit was in disarray. I think it must have been very close to being finished.
Well, I have no idea. All I can tell you is that Martin said he expected the audit to be done in mid-December.
Yeah.
That's what I know. That's what I heard. That's what I see. That's all I know. So if it wasn't done yet, it's got to be done soon, right? That's all I can think of.
Drew Savala wants to call the SEC. What do I say? Say what you want to say. You don't need to hear.
What was that, William?
This guy wants to know, what should he say to the SEC? Just say what you want to say.
Say whatever you like. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Call whoever you think is a scumbag out. It's like a murder mystery. Call out the murderers.
Finger will suffer the same fate as COSM, GNS, GTII, MULN, all ending up with reverse splits. Finger is no different. Not being negative, just being realistic. I don't give my name. Sorry. Not my last name, anyway.
Well, that's someone who obviously knows nothing about what's going on. We've called out every one of those companies, if you haven't paid attention, right? Finger Motion did a deal, and the deal was it toxic, William, or not?
I can't tell. I'm going to wait and see if Roth gets it back to 150. I don't understand those warrants. And if you multiply the warrants with derivatives, that's the area I don't understand. But it seems non-toxic.
Everything you're saying, William.
It seems non-toxic.
So everything you're saying, William, is exactly what Wall Street is about. Yet people are selling shares.
Right.
Using a derivative to hedge and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
The dividend stops the music and exposes all of them.
Yeah.
It's very different. I don't understand why you're not paying attention to that. The dividend is going to trade. It's going to be FNGRW. In case you didn't realize that, I said it 10 times already. It's going to be tradable. GTI's dividend was not tradable. Very different. Understand what you're doing. You guys don't understand what's going on. This is a trap. The dividend is a trap. And that's what I keep trying to tell you. It's a trap.
I think you have to make a decision on Finger. Do you want to hold it for things to get better, or do you want to worry about it every day? If you want to worry about it every single day, guys like Chris will day trade by shorting the stock, coming on here, being negative over and over and over again. So you give up and sell, and he can make his $5,000 so he can take his chick out on a weekend. I mean, that's the game they're playing. And so psychologically, to me, the best way to deal with it is say, you know what, this stuff's going on. It's been going on. But I'm comfortable holding Finger for this, and this. It could happen more quickly, but I'm prepared to wait this long. And I don't care what Chris does each day with his sorry ass life.
Again, all I can tell you is that if the guy's coming on here, I would do the same thing to everyone here if I was short. I would come on here and just continue to tell you everything that will get you to undermine you. If you don't understand it, go get the Bash's Handbook. Their job is to get you to sell. That's all it is. And if you don't understand it, it's right there in black and white. It's been going on for 20-something years. I don't know, 30 years this stuff has been going on. These guys have been doing this stuff. Everybody knows about it. If you're short, you pay people, you go out there and bash it. That's why you got Timothy Sykes, all these guys. Andrew left, busted. Hindenburg's going to go to jail. All these guys are going to jail. They're short and distort. They all do the same thing. We talk about our stocks, they short the stocks, but then they put these false stories out there. And you don't need money. We need money to buy a stock. These guys just keep flooding the market with counterfeit shares until they collapse. That's how it works. And I would do the same thing. Trust me. Give me a stock that's a short. If I was short, I come on here every day. Oh my God, it's terrible. What are you doing? It's going to zero. ZIRT. It's worthless, the company. I tell people every day. I'm a basher. 100% I'm a basher. I believe the company's a fraud, and I think it's going to zero. And the CEO, just like Ken Griffin, and he belongs in jail. I say it every day. I must post it 20 times a day. Everybody knows. Who's holding on to the stock? Institutions. These shares are in some sort of ETF or something because no one's selling the stock. How does the stock trade 150,000 shares? The company is being exposed as a criminal. What does people need to do? I got to knock on their doors? But here it is. We have someone who's aggressively manipulating the stock, watching trades every day. We point it out to you every day, and you're looking at us like we got two heads. Listen, William, I don't want to argue with people that
I don't either.
I
don't want to do it anymore.
If you paid me, I would bash you all day long. Anybody want to pay me, I'll do it all day long. Yeah. That's how easy it is. Yeah. But just think about the consequences. When you kill a Peloton, all those people, go back and look at how many people were laid off. How many people at the company that were trying to build a company all got laid off? Everybody. No one talks about what happens. Management, people lose their careers, all their stock holdings, they've been waiting to sell it, all gone. They didn't go out of business. They just lost all their business through the short sellers spreading vicious rumors. They did it about Elon Musk. Where is everybody about Elon Musk? Where is he? Elon Musk, they tried to put him out of business. The New York Times saying his batteries were going on fire. It was completely false. If Elon Musk didn't fight back, his company would have got destroyed. That was in 2013. Go back and Google that story. That's how bad it was. Look where he is now compared to where they almost put him out of business. And they wanted him out of business. It's right there. These guys attack all over the world. This is a U.S. problem that the DTC, wherever they help set up settlement systems, this is where it's all being done. All these criminals are doing the same thing. It's the same thing everywhere. Anyway, what else?
There's nothing else.
All right, there's nothing else. Then we'll pick up as soon as the company reaches out to you, William. You let us all know. We'll get the CEO on a call, and we'll ask him the questions we want to ask. What do you need the money for? He says that I needed it to drive my business. Will it drive growth? Yes. Will it drive revenue? Yes. Will it drive us to profitability? Let's get that answer. He says yes, yes, yes. Then we know why he took the money. What about the special dividend? Is the audit done? No, the audit's not done. The guy said it's going to be done any day now. I can't narrow it down. I'm not the auditor, but we have to wait till they're done. So when it's done, will you do the dividend? Yes, we will. We'll give a 1 for 10 stock warrant, blah, 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 blah. There's your answers. So why is someone trying to sell it down below $1.50? The CEO is going to say, I don't know, the guy paid $1.50 for $5 million worth of stock. That's sure a lot more money than the people are buying it today at $125. So the question is, do you think the CEO is lying to you, is not going to do the dividend? If you think that's true, listen to whatever that guy's name is, maybe he's right. It's going to become COSM. It's going to become GNS. GNS did the deal right, with its own death spiral guys. If you remember that, right? The guys from Canada. Right?
That guy was a big pompous asshole.
Right. So MULN, I tried to help him out. I told you I met a short seller that made $400 million in MULN. Did anybody remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I said it 50 times. I met the guy. He lent the company money, made $400 million. What am I supposed to say to him? You scumbag? The system allows them to do it. What do you want me to say? But the system needs to change, and that's what we're here about. Anyway, listen, everyone, have a great weekend. Got a lot of good football games, and we'll touch base.
Thanks a lot, man.
Go
Thank
enjoy
you.
your day and your dog, and we'll speak over the weekend. Thank you.
All right, bye. Okay, I'm going to play you guys something. Then I think I'm going to go. I haven't seen this, but it's
interim CEO of Nixie.com, a
Are
NASDAQ
they
company
more?
focusing on transforming traditional markets through technology. It has come to my attention that recently our company, symbol NIXX, that trades on the NASDAQ stock exchange, has become the target of short sellers, otherwise known as shorts. They are people who profit when the share price of the company, NIXX, goes down. They usually spread rumors and lies about the stock NIXX with the hope that people sell and they profit. I call upon you, the investing shareholders of NIX, to help us get rid of these shorts. I've provided a link at the top of this page with a template to send to your broker. Basically, what it says is, I, the investing shareholder, does not allow my shares to be lent out to the short sellers. Together, we can nix the shorts and win. Hey, I'm Granger Whitelaw, interim CEO of Nixie.com, a NASDAQ company focusing on transforming traditional markets through technology. It has come to my attention that recently our company, symbol NIXX, that trades on the NASDAQ stock exchange, has become the target of short sellers, otherwise known as shorts. They are people who profit when the share price of the company, NIXX, goes down. They usually spread rumors and lies about the stock NIXX with the hope that people sell and they profit. I call upon you, the investing shareholders of NIX, to help us get rid of these shorts. I've provided a link at the top of this page with a template to send to your broker. Basically, what it says is, I, the investing shareholder, does not allow my shares to be lent out to the short sellers. Together, we can nix the shorts and win.
That guy got 250,000 shares of Nixie. Okay. No, they can't. You know, I used to deal with a lot of retail clients. The one thing I never wanted to answer again is, where's my dividend? But I guess I got to do it. So anyway, I wish everybody a good long weekend. It'll be New Year's before you know it. We'll be into 2025. And if you want to live, look, we've lost money. I've lost money. And the criminals, I've said it before, if there's 20 levers they have to pull, they got 19 of them pulled. It's just that 20th one they're scared about. That's the fat tail. That's the thing that could surprise them. So they come on here. Then you got these people who try to make a grand, 1,500, $5,000 in a day. They have no money. They just sell through the system that Ann Wagner doesn't want tracked. Goober Gensler does nothing about, and Adina Friedman facilitates. And you know about it, yet you complain about it. Now, Ham has one stock he knows cold. There used to be another, but they won, and they won. The shorts won with GTII. Doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter that they bought 3 guys, or the CEO was corrupt, or they brought in a guy from a derivatives hedge fund and they canceled every deal. Doesn't matter. The shorts won. And you knew it going in. You wanted to get in on a short squeeze. It didn't work. The shorts won in GTII. I don't think they're going to win in Finger, but you could make an argument that they've won so far. Finger was squeezing before Frank Benedetto, Lou Bravo, and Gus Fliakos came in. But hey, here we are. We can't go back and change that. Will Finger squeeze again? Who knows? There's a lot more shares out. They need to raise money, just like a lot of these companies need to raise money. If Wall Street, if the criminals are clever enough to manipulate Wall Street, they go to Roth Capital. Finger goes to Roth Capital. Roth Capital does research. Yeah, we'll do a deal. We'll go to our institutions. The 4 hedge funds that Jeff Lind sells to are institutions. They say, well, we'll take that deal. We'll do it at 150. Boom. They just closed out a bunch of their problems. That's how it works. When Ann Wagner believes that tracking trades is a constitutional violation of privacy, because she's a blooming idiot. Not all women should get jobs, just like not all men. Ann Wagner is a classic case of a human being who shouldn't have her job. But do I think Finger Motion has a lot of fundamentals that are going to kick in? Yes, I do. What are the negatives? China. Lack of clarity of what they do. Not being profitable. The constant short selling attack. The fact they went to Jeff Lind. The fact they're going to need capital and might still have to avail themselves of this crappy Wall Street fraud. What are the positives? I think they're about to turn positive in earnings next year. I think there is a large short position that could bite these people in the ass. I think if you can't wait for the positive revenue and the positive upside, and you're going to watch it every day, and it's going to fill you with dread and anger, and you're going to be susceptible, and you're going to come on, and you're just going to spread that frustration, which I can understand in the short run. But if it continues, you got to say, I lost, I want out. Or I lost, I want to buy more. Or I lost, I'm just going to hang on to what I have and see what happens. Those are your choices. That's it. Those are 3 choices. Same with any stock. If you're sick of Finger Motion and you bought it at a higher level, may I make a suggestion? It's not financial advice. Consult with your Merrill Lynch broker who will say just sell everything. Why not sell a little bit of Finger? Not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot. Tiny bit. Take some losses. Buy Rail F. I don't know where Finger's trading, but for every 1 unit of Finger you trade, I'm not telling you to do this, by the way. I would hold on to Finger. But it's for those of you who just are full of frustration. I think finger after the tax loss season is over. That's what we're in right now. And everyone's on vacation. So these Chris's and these old molds and these Tolstoy Kings come on and they just drive it lower because it's like shooting fish in the barrel and everyone, oh God, it's down and we got fingered by finger. I'm just so sick of all of it. I'm sick of it's not clever. You think it's clever? We got fingered by finger. Oh man, so American. It's so American. So you got 129 divided by 0.35. 1 unit of finger right now can buy you almost 4 units of rail. Call it 3.5 units of rail. Where do you think finger will be in February? It's a serious question. What do you think finger will be trading for in February? Let's say February 1. If I had to guess, it'll be between $1.50 and $2. Why? Chinese holiday. Dividend not coming through yet. Earnings won't be reported until maybe January 15 range, but I think third quarter will be, they'll have plenty of reason to just say, oh, it's never going to work. Oh, it's all a scam. Oh, some stocks deserve to be shorted. The earnings that are going to matter come out for their fourth quarter, not their third quarter, my opinion, based on the interviews, which you can watch. So if I had to guess, finger will be $1.50, $2, maybe $2.50. Where do you think rail could be February 1? I'm going to say the same price. I think rail and finger could be the same price February 1 or sooner. Same price. But if you have 1 unit finger, that's worth, let's call it $2. These are all, I'm making the numbers up. 1 unit of finger is worth $2. And that's a nice move from here. That's a great move from here. That is impressive rate of return. But if I'm right on rail being repriced for what it's done, you got 3.5 units of rail at $2.50, $2. That's $7. It's a little bit over $7. So you hang on to finger. Maybe it goes to 2, but fill in your own. Sit down with a pad of paper. Fill in your own numbers. You can do it over the weekend. You have Monday to play with it. Maybe finger in your mind goes a lot higher and you don't want to touch it. Maybe you don't want to take any tax losses. Maybe you can't stand the story about rail or Nixie. But all I'm saying is you can turn 1 unit of finger into 3.5 units of rail, and they could be both the same price in the same time frame. So finger goes to 2, your rails go to 7. I'm not saying do it with very much, by the way. I'm saying do it with a tiny bit so that you have something to look at that gets you on the shiny side of life. Look on the bright side of life. I don't know. But anyway, doing this, I always end up here and it just ruins my evening. All right. Barbara, thank you. Happy New Year, Barbara. Peace, love, and happiness. Happy New Year. Thank you, Big JR. And I wish everyone here, a Happy New Year. Well, I'm sure we'll talk before then, but I hope you have a peaceful and warm filled with friends, dogs, cats, horses, and family, lovers, and goodness weekend. So cheers.